Well, Tashard, to borrow one of your phrases, the kid from those country dirt roads is going into the Georgia Tech Athletics Hall of Fame. How does that sound?
Awesome. What a blessing. You know what I mean? Truly thankful, humble, first and foremost. You know what I mean? I always thank God for everything and my talent that He blessed me with, and then my teammates and coaches, my whole family. You know what I mean? Me having a chance to be here is a testament to everybody who raised me, my coaches that coached me, and everybody who was along that process. I'm truly thankful. It's sort of surreal to me. It hasn't hit me yet, but I'm truly inspired, and I'm thankful to be back here coaching and having a chance to get in the Hall of Fame for doing stuff as a football player is something I'm truly thankful for.
What do your players think now that you're a Georgia Tech Athletics Hall of Famer, specifically your running backs?
Just a lot of respect, man. I respect those guys, and I think the same between coach and players. I think we both have mutual respect for each other, and I always tell them the power of respect is to never disrespect, and so I treat them as men. And so the things that I've done and the things that I've accomplished, I think they understand that, and they know the hard work that comes into that, and so hopefully they can follow and be better than I am.
Two-time ACC rushing champion here at Tech, 3,500 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns. You told me something interesting, though. You have a hard time sitting down and watching your highlights at Tech.
Right.
Why is that?
It's crazy. You know, most of the time, I ask people that a lot. I think about my successes, but the things I remember most are the things where I failed or the things where I didn't do well. And I think as a football player and as a man, when you get comfortable, when you look at yourself and say, oh, that's really good, I think that's when you ease up. And I think I always had that mind frame from my coaches and my teammates to always think it was room for improvement. And so when I watched film, I was like, oh, I could have did this better. So when we won, so if we lost the game, it was my fault. If we won the game, it was our team together. It was never me. And so that's how I always thought about football. And my coaches, I guess, since I've been in Little League, trained me that way.
Yeah, that was part of the formula for greatness.
No problem.
Through clenched teeth, though, I do have to ask you, since we're in front of the Bobby Dodd statue, and we're right next to Bobby Dodd Stadium, what is your favorite recollection of the game that you played right here at Bobby Dodd?
It has to be when we was playing against Miami and we clinched the Coastal to play for the ACC championship game. I remember that the most because we knew what was at stake. I think the night before, Coach Gailey put a ring. Most of the time we watch a video before the game, and all he put was the ACC championship ring. And it was nothing else that needed to be said. Go out there and get the job done. And I think everybody on our football team understood that. And thinking back at it, he was a man of few words. And when he spoke, he meant what he said. And so understanding as a football team, I think everybody got it. And I remember winning that game, and you know what I mean, how much everybody on our team and everybody in the organization was, happy for us.
Coach Collins has prioritized recruiting here in Metro Atlanta. You were one of those guys who initially began your career at Oklahoma, but then you came back home. How powerful was it when you were here to represent your city at Georgia Tech and carry that message on to a new generation of players who are thinking about where to go for college?
Everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny how it all happened, and coming back home, I was so thankful, you know what I mean, to have 3 years left, to come home and then get instant eligibility from the NCAA. I just remember coming here and being so happy that I was around my family, around my friends, and then I knew Atlanta because I grew up here in Atlanta, so just being here and then representing for the 404, I think, like we say 404 for the culture, I think I am the culture. You know what I mean? That's how I grew up in Atlanta, grinder, working our tail off, and that's, how it was.
Well, we are in front of the Bobby Dodd statue, and of course that means we're not too far away from the steam whistle either. You heard that a time or two when you crossed into the end zone at Bobby Dodd, though.
Oh yeah, and going to class. My class right up the hill, so I used to run up and down this hill. HTS, most of my classes up the hill, so that sort of like symbolizes Georgia Tech, if you ask me.
Well, that's why you had such good leg strength and could bust through those tackles, get to run up the freshman hill here.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you look back in your Georgia Tech playing career, anything from that era that you're now incorporating into Tashard Choice, the coach here at Georgia Tech?
The one thing I always try to make sure my players get is always to do extra and to be tough and physical. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't, as a football player growing up in Mighty Mites, we always was told, don't ever get out hit. No matter how fast you are, no matter how big you are, don't let your opponent out hit you. And so when I grew up and I got to college, one thing I learned from watching great players and watching great examples of great players, I saw how hard they worked. If Megatron was out here, I think one day we had a buggy. We had a competition with a buggy. It was a 110. And I remember how fast he pushing. You can ask all my teammates, pure shock. I think he did it in 16 seconds. And this thing is really it's filled with weights, and it's a buggy.
Shopping cart, right?
Shopping cart. I mean, most unbelievable. And so when you see a player like him work his tail off, what can you do? You have no excuses for somebody who's gifted in that much ability to see him work. That's what I try to get my players to do, to compete and work their tail off.
When Georgia Tech fans watched you play, when they hear you now, they can hear the passion and the conviction that you have for this institute. Why does Georgia Tech mean so much to you?
It helped me grow up as a man. It gave me opportunity. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, when you come and I came back home, I was searching to find myself, to make sure who I was. And then you have good people like Derek Moore that was there. Had good coaches like Coach Michaels, that's coach for the Denver Broncos right now. I had good people around me. Tommy Robinson, the assistant head coach for LSU. Those are my coaches. And so having those people here to help build me and to mold me as a young man, and then going to these professors, these great college, it was unbelievable. My friends, my teammates, I can only speak nothing but volumes about them.
Let's wrap up with you. Jemias Griffin, you're freshman. Does he know that he's wearing your number 22?
Oh yeah. And he
knows what that represents now.
Yeah, hard work, dedication, and I'm on his butt too. And he's a great kid. He's very coachable. I love him, but I give him no slack, because if I treat him, you know what I mean, I treat him like he's better than me. So I coach him like that. I try to get more into him, and he responds the right way. All my running backs, man, I got no more respect for him. I'm thankful to coach him.
As long as he knows the responsibility that now comes with wearing the number 22 that was made famous by this man. Yes, Deuce. He was the Pied Piper of Bobby Dodd Stadium, and now he's going straight into the Athletics Hall of Fame this weekend. Hall of Famer, Tashard Choice.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for joining us. More of the 404 Takeover after this.